Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Seb, and if you're interested in MS related topics, make sure to hit the subscribe button below so you get all the notifications on any updates that I may be posting. Now, today, as I promised, I will be talking about speech problems. It might not be very clear when you read that MS may cause speech problems. So in this video, I will go over some of the symptoms that I have experienced and why these are considered speech problems. This is a very sentimental topic to me, and I will explain why throughout this video. As I've said, I speak several languages, and one of them is French, which is a language that I spoke since I was a little boy and that I grew up speaking in school. And it used to be my best language until one of my earliest symptoms ever, and I had no idea that I had MS. But when I think back now, I realize that this may have been caused by MS. One day, suddenly, I had a hard time speaking French. And I don't mean grammatically, I mean phonetically. I had a hard time pronunciating a whole sentence without interruptions in French. And this came to me as a super weird thing that happened all of a sudden. I remember myself sitting in bed, reading out loud from a book in French, trying to train my mouth to pronounce those sounds again. Now, this didn't come back. I ultimately reached the point that it was like, it might be due to lack of practice, and this is just how it is now, so I'm just going to accept it. And this is a very sentimental topic to me because in high school, I used to do plays. I used to be an actor, and people would congratulate me for how well I articulated and how easy it was to understand me when I spoke. And all of a sudden, I was ashamed of myself when I spoke French. That was the first hint that I had of having speech problems. Little by little, it started to spread into more languages and words and sounds. I started to identify what sounds were difficult for me to make, and those were particularly the sounds M, N, R, L, all the sounds involving the tongue behind the teeth and joining the lips together, so labial sounds like mm. So mama was a word that I found difficult to say. Funnily enough, these speech problems were the thing that triggered me to call the doctor and ultimately be sent to the hospital to get my diagnosis. I was saying a word in Spanish containing R, N, and L all in a sequence, and I was unable to pronounce it. And as I was saying this word to a friend and couldn't say it, I was like, okay, this is embarrassing, firstly. And secondly, there's something very weird going on with me. So that is the muscular aspect of phonetics, of how MS can impact your speech. Now, also muscular, but it's more related to the vocal cords. And I'm getting very scientific here, but I am a linguist, guys, and I am a bit of a geek when it comes to phonetics. So the muscles emitting the vibrations in the vocal cords, they can get spasmodic, they can get spasms, and that will make your voice be shaky. That is one thing that I noticed about my voice, that if I didn't keep this level of voice that I have right now, if I speak at a lower tone and lower volume, my voice will be tremulous, will be shaky. Another symptom you might have is that you have a hard time controlling the level of your voice. And I have experienced that when I suddenly hear myself and I'm like, whoa, that came out loud. And I feel embarrassed because there's people around me and my volume was perhaps inappropriate. And this applies also to laughter. Maybe I'm laughing inappropriately loudly, Luckily now I've come to terms with it, which is something that you ultimately have to do on a pretty frequent basis when you have MS. You have to come to terms with whatever symptoms are thrown at you. But so much so that I'm able to make these videos, and even though I edit some parts of the videos away where I have to repeat a word once or twice before I get it right, I am able to participate in a big work meeting and actually raise my hand and voice my opinion about something without being scared, because now I know that the only person that I have to impress is myself. If it takes me a little bit longer, or I really have to pace myself in order to make sure that I get all the words right, instead of rushing through a sentence, ultimately I tell myself that people actually enjoy the fact that I speak slowly and clearly. I'm not stressed when I have to speak like I was before. And this makes me think of another thing, that I usually get these speech problems when I'm nervous, when I'm anxious, when I'm in an unfamiliar situation. So, for example, you may or may not have noticed that when I was doing this live video, this live interview, my speech was a little bit affected. And that is because, I will come out and admit it, I was a little bit nervous to be making a video live without being able to moderate it with my expert editing skills. When I'm doing these videos, I'm calm because I know that whatever mistake can be wiped out. So, moral of the story, and this counts for every MS symptom that you have, is to stay calm. Just go with whatever you have to go with. If it's a shaky leg, a shaky gait, go with it. Walk with it. Do so with pride. If you have to speak slowly, be aware that many people are actually grateful that you do that. Be kind to yourself. And this is something that I've learned through having to accept my speech. And so that was it for my video on speech problems. I'm also having a little bit of a speech problem here in the throat right now because I'm a little bit sick. But I wanted to make this video because I promised to make it, and showing that if you give yourself the time and patience to speak very slowly, you will be able to, and this counts for every other symptom. Give yourself the time and patience you deserve. Thank you for watching this video, everyone. I hope you're all well. Take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.